What's up, guys? Welcome to Let's Play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist of the Roses. You guys ready?
Yay!
Alright, how about we have some introductions here because all of you guys are new. All of you guys are new.
I'm not new.
Yeah, you're not. Okay. You are, though. Alright.
Which one?
We're going to jump right into it. We're going to start a new game here. So on the... on several Yu-Gi-Oh! Forums and on the Let's Play page as well, I did a vote for what kind of name we would have and what kind of decks we'd be using, so you guys are going to finally see the results of that. So this game is sort of a pseudo-sequel to Forbidden Memories in a way, even though it has little to nothing to do with it, in the sense that it doesn't take place in ancient Egypt. It also doesn't take place in modern times. It takes place actually in the 1400s in England, where it's basically the War of the Roses as told by the cast of Yu-Gi-Oh! And as ridiculous as that sounds, it's completely awesome. And we played the hell out of this game, didn't we?
Oh,
Mykel?
yes.
Like, I must have played...
lots of times.
I've put like hundreds of hours in this game probably over the years. I'm gonna give enough time for this dialogue to pass through where we can read it. And I'm not gonna... During one of the test runs, we dubbed over this dialogue too, which was great.
Oh my god, that was
We had
you
dubbed Simon here, who is a reoccurring character from Forbidden Memories. And he's going to tell us what we're doing.
My mom!
That's gonna be a running joke now. For some reason they decided to call him Mick Mooran as opposed to just Mooran in this one. So, we're in Stonehenge, apparently.
I can't see his name.
Yeah, because the microphone's in the way. But yeah, apparently, okay, we're going with the name that won the quote-unquote bid war. And that name is... Not Dick Butt.
Not Dick Butt.
I want it to be Dick Butt so bad.
Nope, wrong thing.
You did it wrong. A poon. Is a poon.
Well, the name I suggested wins.
Yep.
Yes.
Because people simply disagree with you.
My mom.
Stop.
So I think we should explain that. Do you want to explain that, Mykel?
So pretty much, my mom has a tendency to always add an ellipses to everything that she texts me. So I'd be like, okay, ... on my way, ... 4 o'clock, ... everything, ... So pretty much every time I see an ellipsis, I always think of my mom, so...
And we were test playing this, he said that out loud, I'm like, okay, we're sticking with that. That's gonna be how we read the dialogue from now on.
Yeah. Nope, my mom.
My mom.
Every single time I see an ellipses, I
will
say
you
my
help
mom.
us, my mom? Of course you will. Alright, so yeah, Simon was basically our tutorial character in Forbidden Memories as well. And apparently we've been summoned from modern age to Stonehenge during the Rose War using, well, I'm not going to explain that yet. So,
these two are down here.
basically, I'll go into more of this when we get into the gameplay, but basically toss everything out the window you know about the TCG and how it's played, because this is nothing like... Of course we're not going to play a practice, so I'll explain it when we get to the game. Now we get to select our deck. He was explaining to me there that the deck leader is a new concept that involves the perfect rule that he was explaining before, and how the rules are completely different from anything you're familiar with. So I'm going to go into that when we actually get into the gameplay. But basically toss everything out of your mind that you know about the TCG, because none of it is relevant here.
So I can't win first turn?
Alright, so the 3 decks we have, this is actually not what...
Nigga, no.
This is... well, no, you can't win first turn, actually. This deck is actually not one of the ones that we had when I first did this name, unless I typed it differently or something like that. It was originally Made of the Aqua, Tactical Warrior, and Luminous Soldier, and we're getting Birdface instead this time. But Made of the Aqua had 2 votes, but Tactical Warrior actually had 3, so that's the one we're going with. Luminous Soldier is a really good deck as well, but it's not very consistent. Like, it doesn't have a lot of the same types.
Hey, I don't think I voted.
You did, or did you vote?
Did I vote?
I don't know.
I
don't think I did.
The Tactical Warrior one. See, the thing about it is just consistency. Whereas the Birdface deck would be really good with mountain terrain. The terrain thing is still here from Forbidden Memories. If you guys are familiar with that.
I vote Birdface.
Too bad. Birdface has no votes except for 1 now.
Yeah.
So,
I'm holding strong.
Luminous Soldier actually has one of the strongest monsters you can get as a starter deck card. It has a monster of 2300 attack, and that's Kaiser Dragon. But we're going with Tactical Warrior because it's not overall as powerful, but it's more consistent, and it will allow me to get some combos easier early in the game. There are some fights I'm worried about early on in the game, though. So, get this. Not only is Yugi in this game Henry VII, but Seto is Christian Rosencruz. And if you guys know anything about the War of the Roses, that just... you should be groaning and shaking your head at that. Which, believe me, I was. But he has an awesome blue eyes on his arm, for some reason.
Why not?
Yeah, he has like, the best design ever in this game.
Fashion.
I mean...
So apparently the Rose cards on their own have some really powerful sorcery behind them that they've been using to wage warfare against the Lancastrians, which is unfortunate because we never get to use any of that sorcery. They're never used in-game. It's basically used outside of the context of the gameplay. Except for the fact that we need to obviously get all cards to return back to our normal time. So that's basically the objective of the game. And we're going to be given we're going to be given two sides to play as here. We'll be playing both of them as over the course of the game, because you complete one, you're able to go to the other campaign as soon as you finish the first one, and you're able to use the same deck as well. Although I'm tempted to actually roll a completely new deck when we do that, just because it'll make things harder, and I'll be able to show off different cards as well. But we'll get to that when we get to that. If you guys would rather see that as opposed to me going through the entire campaign with the same deck, let me know, because this deck will be much more powerful by the time we get to the end of the first campaign. And if I were to continue, I would just be making it too easy. But then again, I'm picking the side that's definitely the easier of the two to do first, even though it's not exactly laid out which one you should do first. But I'm also going with the one that's going to get us to gameplay quickest, so for speed purposes, getting this all in one video, because this is a lot of dialogue. I actually didn't notice this the first couple of times I played the game. The first time I played as a kid, obviously I skipped through all this dialogue, I wasn't really interested. So we're actually going to be siding with Seto, we're going to be siding with the bad guys this time, we're siding with the Yorkist. On the side of the White Rose.
It's kind of better to be bad anyway.
Oh, it's good to be bad.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What? My mom?
No, my mom.
So Seto gets straight down to business with us and says, okay, you have your deck, you know your location, let's go out and just knock out each and every one of his loyal elite duelists that have the red rose cards so we can get you home. And I can commence my evil plans to take over the world. So...
What was that?
Don't worry about it. I was yawning.
Oh, he was yawning epically with his hand in front of his face. So obviously this is going to end up with us fighting against Yugi. Obviously if you had picked the side of the Lancastrians, Simon would take you back to where Yugi is, and you would get he would debrief you and give you more information about the Rose Crusaders, and then you would go out to fight them. The difference is, we start out in Stonehenge here. The difference is Taya is our first opponent. No fancy name or anything like that, just Taya. So I'm going to briefly go through our deck real quick and show you guys what we have. And there's some cards I'm probably going to try to get multiples of eventually. So Tactical Warrior is our deck leader, which is basically our boss monster. And if you guys are familiar with like Commander in Magic the Gathering, or if you're familiar with Force of Will nowadays, that's definitely kind of what this is. Even though it doesn't have any, we don't get leader abilities until we've increased our rank, and we'll go into that later on. So she has a good flip effect that we'll want to get more copies of her so we can actually play her. But it's got a few dragons, a few zombies, mostly warriors though. Nothing super powerful, so we're gonna have to do something about that soon. Ooh, an Empress Judge.
She is my main bitch right there.
Yeah. It's got some Beast Warriors, which are good on meadow terrain as well. Definitely some things I'm going to be taking out right away, though. Some things that I'm just not crazy about. Got one Pyro, so I'll be able to make Flame Swordsman. Okay, so I also have a Rock and a Plant here. If I can combine them with a female monster, I might be able to make you-know-who. We'll go into that as we go. One Trap. Actually, not a bad trap. It destroys anything with 1500 or less. That's better than what we had in the last deck.
Yeah.
We test played several different decks throughout this.
What?
So, basically, in order to challenge an opponent, they have a certain amount of combined deck cost from the amount of cards in their deck, and we have to be less than that in order to accept their Rose card when we defeat them. So Taya's is pretty low, all things considered, but all the deck costs for the starter decks are pretty low anyway starting out, and we'll be able to take out some of these weaker cards with stronger cards, but we can't load up our deck with the strongest cards in the game, or else we won't be able to challenge the opponent that we want to fight. So here we go, first duel against Taya.
You hear that, kids? No blue eyes.
Yep.
Well, no blue eyes yet, we'll get to that. I love Tactical Warrior. Tactical Warrior is actually a monster called Command Knight in the real TCG, which is unfortunate. We couldn't have it named that in the real thing. Think of this sort of like Dungeon Dice Monsters or like a game of chess. It's actually very similar to a strategy RPG in the sense that you move all your units around the battlefield, including your deck leader, and we can play our cards from their hand. We can only play one card per turn, unfortunately. I'm actually going to send out this Blackland Fire Dragon for now and just kind of wait things out. Now, Taya is pretty weak, but things can be hit or miss with her. Things can go really bad really fast because, as we discovered during some of our test runs, what she likes to do is she likes to dump a bunch of power-ups on some really weak monsters, and fairies are actually a really good type, especially... Should I do it?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to run into it and we're going to see what it is. So, basically... Okay, that's not too bad. I was on the mountain terrain there, so Blackland Fire Dragon, which is a dragon-type monster, gets 500 plus attack and a... Oh, I forgot to disable that. I need to do that after this duel. Disable the battle animations.
Oh, crap, I forgot to remind you of that.
Yeah.
I forgot myself.
So, we were able to move 2 spaces there when we flipped him up. So that's pretty nice. Nothing else I want to play yet. Obviously, I can't play anything else because I haven't recovered enough stars. That's another mechanic of this, is every turn, when you start out, you have 4 stars, which allows you to play a certain type of card from your hand, and then every turn you recover a certain amount. You recover 3 per turn, which allows you to summon more powerful monsters. That's why you can't drop your best monster on the board on the first turn. Now, there's nothing really good in my hand here, so I'm actually going to mill out my deck a little bit here to try to get to some better stuff. So I'm going to mill out the monsters I don't really care about, that I'm not going to be able to make fusions with. I say that and watch one of them create a fusion.
No.
And he's actually got decent attack too, so we can move him up and kind of get our opponent worried scared here. The thing I was really worried about was running into a monster called Hourglass of Courage, which royally wrecked us in one of the test runs because that thing was very powerful.
Its effect was, more specifically.
Because it buffed... Ooh, we're in good shape already. I'm going to move that up. Send in that to get rid of any monsters that she summons. And actually, we can go ahead and attack her deck leader directly because she's moved it in range of our Baron here. That was way too easy. But yeah, she runs a lot of power-ups, and she runs a lot of monsters that have effects too. Ah, dang it. Okay, we ran into that one.
Rip.
Yep, rip Blackland Fire Dragon. I got too brave there.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, you don't want to leave her alive for too long, though, because, like I said, she has some nasty cards. So don't underestimate her, but she seems like the weak opponent at first, but... Ooh, she can... okay, that was lucky. She can destroy a Baron as well, because she has 50 more attack. Just 50. But I can still play something in her summoning zone and kill her right now if I want to. Dome of the Angel of Silence.
Take that 50 damage.
Yeah, there's a battle animation that happens every time 2 monsters are engaged in combat, but we're going to be skipping that, and we'll be disabling it in the options to make things go a little faster. Alright, so let's get something good on the board here and try to take her out.
Rip. She's gone.
Yep, that's it. Game. Okay, so we'll finish her off with Emperor's Judge. I wanted to make that as fast as possible because we're actually at a pretty significant disadvantage for this fight. There is some meadow terrain around, which is nice, but not a whole lot to really take advantage of. Alright.
Our first win.
So for defeating her, we are allowed to play the slot machines, which totally existed in the 1400s, right? And unfortunately, there's nothing good here. We
get a dancing.
Yeah, simulated gambling. We basically get to win 3 cards that were in her graveyard to further increase our collection of cards we can customize our deck with. And that's basically how you get new cards in this game. It's much, much better than the system in Forbidden Memories. And we just get all Fake Traps. Fake Trap is like the go-to disposable